What's up, everybody? This is B's for Build. I'm Chris. In this episode, we are working on the Plan B, and we're getting a quarter panel for the Plan B, and we're gonna strip it down and install it, start the installation of a new quarter panel on the Plan B. So those of you that don't know, the Plan B, I bought it wrecked, and the wreck damage included damage to the driver's side quarter panel. So I'm getting another quarter panel. My family has a business, a small business, and they have these crazy work trucks, and it's a van actually. They're nice enough to let me borrow their work van so I could go pick up this rear quarter panel. If you're wondering how to find these parts, it's pretty simple. If you're in the United States, I always look for secondhand parts from wrecked cars. If you're in the United States, car-part.com is this massive database. I have no affiliation with them or sponsorship or anything, but it's a massive database of a ton of parts, and then they're attached to these different wrecking yards, and you can call the wrecking yard and say, hey, this is the part I need, come take a look at it and buy it used. So that's awesome. We're just recycling car parts. It's the coolest way to do this. So I'm going, I went down and got my parents' work truck, and check, there's a little play in the steering. Car's not going anywhere. Yeah. Anyways, I'm on my way down there. I'm gonna pick up the rear quarter panel, load it in the back of this van. I'm gonna drive it back up to my house, about 100 miles, 60 miles, and then I'm gonna re-deliver the work truck and then come back up to my place and get started on the car. Stay tuned. All right, we got the part. It was a little bit of a struggle, but we got the part. We got it off the forklift and into the van. It's right back there. You guys can probably see it. It is a red FRS quarter panel off of an FRS that we're gonna stick on my BRZ. So we're heading home now. All right, guys, we are back. We got the quarter panel home. Yesterday was a ton of driving back and forth, salvage yard, borrowing trucks, whatnot. Sometimes that's just the work you gotta put in to get these parts. But we got our quarter panel. It was 450 bucks when it was all said and done, about 40 bucks in gas. We got this panel here. So the next step that we're gonna do is we're gonna be stripping the outer skin of this quarter panel off of the inner skin of this quarter panel. There are things like spot welds that you wanna drill out, and there's these different things that you gotta pry apart. And I'm really stoked. I've never done this before. There's a lot to learn here, and I'm really excited. I know that for sure we're gonna wanna learn on our spare part rather than on our car. So I'm gonna lean on the side of damaging the inner skin of this spare part rather than ever damaging the outer skin of this part. And it's time to start taking these two pieces apart from each other so we can prep this outer part to go on this car. All right, so here's the game plan with this piece. I gotta be honest, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm not scared to jump into a project and just kind of learn on my way. I watched a video of a guy doing quarter panels on YouTube, but it was 100% Russian, so I have no idea what he was saying, but I could definitely see what he was doing. So, do svidaniya quarter panel, and it's time to get started. I know one thing that you're supposed to do is, you guys probably can't see, but there's all these spot welds that the machines do. They zap it together, all these pieces. So this is a seam. What I'm trying to do is pull the two parts apart on the seam. So what I'm gonna do is drill out the spot welds all the way through here. And I'm just gonna start in the front because I know that that's gonna be the easiest part. So I'm gonna start over here, and then hopefully I'll have learned a couple things on my way as I work my way back to where it definitely is gonna get a little bit harder. So the goal today, and we're also going to lose sunlight, I'm really sorry, but that's just the weather this time of year. So anyways, the goal today though is to be able to drill a bunch of these out, and I'd like to be able to separate the two skins here and here, coming down along here before it gets too dark. And if it does get dark, you guys know I got lights, we'll throw them on there. All right.
Stone cold when I look up to the sky, baby, I feel freedom. It's all gold, like the sun up in the sky. That's the feeling. Slingshot, boomerang, set me free. Wind it up, 1, 2, 3. Slingshot, boomerang, set me free. Wind it up, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, well, I can officially say that this is ridiculous. I didn't know Subaru was making their cars out of titanium now. I can't get a drill to really do any damage or go through any of these spot welds very well. And I mean, I'm really leaning on it. Part of the problem is I don't have really high quality drill bits for metal. I might need to go buy some of those. With the amount of spot welds there are, there's probably over 100 of them. I mean, I think I really have to go buy one of those at this point. Man, it's a bummer. This is some really tough. Part of the problem is there is a basically real thick reinforcement going right through here, and that's that like Subaru like built-in roll cage kind of crash safety stuff that they talked about for a long time back in the 2000s, how strong all the Subarus are and stuff like that. When you look through this car from here, you can see this really thick steel bar going through there, and it shouldn't really have anything to do with right here, but it may. The other thing is it could just be how strong this metal is from where it's been welded. Regardless of that, I think I'm gonna go grab a hammer and try and start tapping on this and see what happens, for instance right here where I did drill through one sheet of metal. Okay, I'm hoping you guys can see here kind of the difference. Now this is one that I didn't drill out very well, and this is one that I drilled out pretty well. And when I get the chisel underneath to go pop this weld off, the ones that aren't drilled out very well, they're hanging up a lot more and we're losing a lot more metal. And this is the piece of metal that we need to keep, so we're trying to keep this in good shape. So this is showing me that I need to do better on my drilling. So I'm off to the store. I'm gonna go try and pick up a better drill bit. All right, we are back. Well, I'm back. And like usual, whenever you're working really hard and stuff's not working right, it's probably because you have the wrong tool. So I found out there's such thing as a rotary spot weld cutter. The idea is you don't drill through the spot weld because the metal gets too hard. You cut around it. So this thing is really hard to see, but it's got a little point in the center where it's just trying to keep your drill on target. And then you're cutting around the outside of the weld, and then that'll make a nice clean hole for you so you can get around that spot weld. I don't know why that guy in Russia was using a drill bit then. I mean, he was definitely a professional. Maybe he had a titanium drill bit made from Thor's hammer or something. I don't know. But we're going with this new spot weld cutting bit. And, geez, that's a giant chuck. I'm excited to give it a whirl. So we've already got these holes all started. So I'm going to go ahead and go through those. And the rest of them, I'm just going to use the punch a center spot in them, and then drill them out.
I'ma fight till the day that I die. Swear to God that I put that on my life, and I'ma try my best to love forever, to enlighten. I'm a spaz, baby, I'm a knight, and I'm glad to take off and fly, yeah. If you wanna stun me, nigga, keep on trying. If I leave, I'm not leaving in silence. You won't see me crying, you gon' see the fire in my eyes. If I go, I'ma start a riot. I'm fighting for my life, yeah. I'ma give y'all everything tonight if I leave.
Okay, so here you can see how I drilled out all these different spot welds, and you can see it does take up quite a bit of the metal, but that'll be okay. I could use a little bit more room to weld. I think what you would do normally is you'd actually come from the other side if you wanted to do this, but I'm coming from this side because I need to use that spot to weld it back on anyways. So coming all the way down here. Next thing, we have these little fold over spots. You can see the metal kind of folds right over into the other piece. So I'm gonna use my chisel and pop those things off. There's one over here, and then that will fully separate the skin from this door frame. And then there's everything else behind it further back here that I get to worry about.
If I leave, cheers. I'm not leaving inside. You won't see me crying. You gon' see the fire in my eyes.
Okay, well, good progress. We got the inside layer of this skin all undone from the inside. I'm an idiot. We got the outside layer of the skin all spot welded from the inside, so it's all able to be shifted around all the way through and around here. So underneath there's going to be a seam, same process. I'm going to have to draw out the spot welds and bend it up, and then there's some magic that I got to do up here, and then in the back I got to figure out where I want to cut it. Like I said, unfortunately we're going to lose daylight soon, but I've been making good progress. I think I'm going to keep going on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab a light and set it up and start working into the night. Okay, as you can see, I was working my way up this fender and popped all the spot welds up through here, and then the spot welds stop and you have this interesting kind of adhesive that they did on here to keep these two pieces together. So I'm chipping that off with the chisel and then coming through and separating the two pieces of metal that no longer need to be on each other. So it's actually a pretty smooth process and it's going pretty well. I'm working my way up to the back, and that's helping me start kind of figure out where I want to do my welds. So I want to do my welds as much as I can where they're totally not going to be seen. They're also not needed structurally too much. Like I showed you, this is just thin sheet metal, so it's not really a structural issue. But I want to do them where they're hidden. So I think right back here is one really prime area where I can do it. They're super hidden. It's under the bumper, and then under the taillight is where I'm going to do my other one. But I'll get into that a little bit later. So for now, I'm going to finish peeling this part off, get back to here, and again, I'm going to salvage all these parts because these are the type of parts that break when we're out hooning, and I want to keep extras. Alright guys, well you can start to see the picture here. We're going to replace that plastic quarter panel with this red FRS quarter panel. We've got every single spot weld from the bottom and the inner side undone. The next part is there's a roof line that we got to figure out how we want to detach that. I think that involves cutting, and then we got to cut the back end, and then this piece of sheet metal is ready to go, and we're going to have to do the same process on the BRZ to remove the damaged one. So that's going to be what the next few episodes are about. Sorry if this episode is a little bit short. It gets dark fast these days, and it's cold. There's one benefit of working in the cold. If you have a drink, it just gets colder while you're working. It's really nice. You don't have to worry about it going flat. On a serious note, I really want to thank everyone for helping support the channel. The last episode where what people are starting to call the Plan A, which I kind of like that nickname, BRZ started, I think was just a really cool moment where we are all able to share in and really all kind of share that feeling of a turning point for that car. And I just, the response from the viewers was amazing with that. I think a lot of people shared the same feeling that I did, and that was amazing. And I want to remind you guys that, you know, this channel wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for the viewers, for you guys that are helping support the channel, everybody that's liked the channel on Facebook and shares it and spreads it and likes the posts and all that stuff, getting their friends in on it. It's amazing, and I don't forget that without you guys, this wouldn't be anything. Without you guys, I probably wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have a second car, and I probably wouldn't be out working in 30-degree weather, but I love this stuff, and I'm happy to do it, and without you guys, the fans, none of it would be possible. On that note, thank everyone. I want to thank everyone who bought a key tag over the last few days. That is a really good way to help support the channel. They're really handy to get your keys out when you have gloves on. B is for Build key tags are on sale right now in our shop, and if you want to support the channel, that is a great way to do it. Again, I apologize if this episode is short. I'm going to try and make the next one a little bit longer. I'm trying to stay on the schedule of a weekend episode and a midweek episode, so I'll try and keep doing 2 episodes a week for you guys. Thank you guys all very much for watching. bsforbuild.com is our website. That's where the shop is at. Instagram, bsforbuild, and facebook.com/bsforbuild is where you can find us. Please help supporting the channel by hitting the like button on this video and subscribing if you're not already subscribing. Thank you guys very much. Peace.